Let me ask the question, man. I know you're just talking about the other thing, but what was it like auditioning for Pen 15? How many rounds did you have to go through? And if you want, maybe talk too lightly on like what was like auditioning for the short film too. I mean, I know you kind
Okay.
of touched base on it, but
Yeah. So, man, I guess I'll start with Pen 15, but it took only about only 2 rounds, really. It was just the audition and the callback. But auditioning was cool. Actually met one of the I think two of the actors that eventually got a role in the film, not the film, the TV show. So like I remember first day we walked in and I sat down. There was a couch in the waiting room. I had to sign in, of course. Sat down on the couch and some kid comes in and I said, hey, seat was available, so might as well let him sit next to me. So we talked, I think we just talked about video games, really. That's literally all we talked about. But yeah, then the callback came and he was there too. He was there for the callback, and I auditioned for Sam, who I think is a pretty important role in the series. So I auditioned for Sam. But yeah, so the callback, my friend was there. At this point, I would consider we were, friends. And when I got the role and I actually went on set, he was there. And surprisingly, he plays my best friend in the show. So he ended up getting Brendan. He ended up getting Brendan, and I don't know how they knew that we already clicked in real life. So it was basically perfect. Maybe they were watching.
The lifelong friends you make, right? Even during the audition process. Nate, so you had talked about recurring. You got the guest role as it's a recurring guest role. So you got onto not just season 1, but season 2 as well, and that must be exciting for you. And I know being, knowing your family and knowing the community, right? The ethnic community, the Indonesian community, the Indonesian-American community here, they must have been really proud. And what was the reaction?
Oh, wow. The reaction was honestly made my whole year. It was amazing. Like everyone was so supportive. I remember like it was late at night. We were in the kitchen. It's like we were just like talking. I think we were just hanging out as a family. We were just talking, and then our agent calls and she's like, they want Nathaniel to play in Pen 15. And my mom was like freaking, she was like jumping up and down. Like you can't really hear her on the phone, but like she's like, you can tell that she's like screaming internally. So so everyone was like happy. They told me I got the role for Skylar. No one auditioned for that. That wasn't like a character that I had to audition for. And they didn't give me like a brief description of the character. So I had to like kind of improv his personality. So in a way, I was just Skylar. I just did myself, really. So I felt like I would say it's a blessing, to be honest. My friend Taj, that's his name. He got the role for Sam, and I actually met him in the audition room or the waiting room. So he was pretty cool. But they liked my audition so much that they decided to just add Skylar into the show. So
that's even better.
Yeah, I feel like that definitely was a blessing. And my family was like posting it on Facebook. My grandparents, my uncles, they were like, wow, it was amazing.
I saw that.
I can tell. Everyone was so supportive. It was amazing. It was great.
I've speaking kind of like what Victor kind of just brought up too. Like how do you see the industry regarding diversity changing, especially since you're the newer generation, so you get to see maybe not more open, but maybe more open-minded directors and writers compared to when me and Victor were younger. Like you do always see like the stereotypes and whatnot. So it's
Mhm.
kind of cool to see like an Asian person just playing an Asian person that might be playing a gangster, might be playing a mechanic, might be playing a cook. They don't have to just be don't have to know martial arts and do math, you know.
Right.
It's
Mhm.
kind of like they realize now they should have known, but there's more to us than what they thought. So I guess what's your opinion on, you know, the you know what I mean? I can't say the word
Yeah,
right now.
diversity.
Yeah,
No, no, yeah.
thank you.
I totally get it. Um, I feel like we're getting there. We're not fully there yet. There's still that fine line for that, stereotype,
Yeah.
So I definitely believe we're getting there, small steps, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally get it. You guys grew up where it was strictly probably just martial arts, and now some movies actually have Asian people just normal,
Yeah.
humans instead
Going.
of just
No
like, oh,
stereotype. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
The
there's
love
like no
interest, the
stereotype.
actual main love interest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, I mean, Shang-Chi came out, right?
I
And
can say that
that
helps. Yeah.
definitely revolves around martial arts, but it still represented just, of course it showed that martial art factor, but
Mhm.
it definitely gave light to the Asian community,
Mhm.
as a whole. Like shows that we can act, some people don't even, fight, they're just there, and it shows that
Mhm.
you could just be a normal Asian person
Right.
in Hollywood. So we're definitely getting there. I definitely feel like we're getting there. I mean, I played a random, just normal Asian kid. I didn't,
Right.
I didn't, have any math factor or
Right.
martial art factor. I was just
Right.
like, I'm this guy's best friend. I'm gonna
Right.
just roll with it. So definitely think we're getting there. But again, there is that fine line of, oh, martial artists,
Mhm.
So
Right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, speaking of which, and I want to kind of end it with this. It's getting better. Obviously, Omar had mentioned when him and I were younger, probably your age, back in the
Right.
back in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
But we were always, I think, I could probably I could say this, but I was hesitant. I always wanted to act, but I was hesitant to get into it because I wasn't sure if there's going to be there's enough roles for us, besides martial arts,
Mhm.
and besides all the other stereotypes. Now I don't know if that's one of the reasons why Omar got into martial arts, and myself too. I think that was it. I was like, you know what, might as well roll with it, right? Play the game they want, how it is. But the fact that it's being more diverse now, okay, now not just with other Indonesian Americans, or even darker tan people like ourselves, or even Asian, just anybody in general. If you had a friend, what would you say to them if they were like, hey, you know what, I'm not sure if I want to get into acting. What would you say? What's the advice you would give to them?
I actually have a couple friends that are interested in the industry, definitely. Um, what I always just say is I think there's a saying, it's you make 0% of the shots you don't take. And honestly, just go for it,
Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
That was Michael Jordan. Yeah.
Oh, it was? Oh,
It was,
I
yeah.
just heard
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. No,
So,
it's good. And
I
it's
thought
true.
it sounded
Yeah.
familiar. Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's true. It really is true. If you don't try, you're not gonna get anywhere, Um, and I guess my one like advice is to keep trying. Like I got into the acting industry because my parents thought it would be better. I didn't want to be in it. I didn't have
Right.
like that oh shoot, I got to do martial arts,
Mm.
I didn't have any of that. But throughout like the acting school, I built up like this love for acting, and um I never really put that mentality of, oh, I got to do martial arts. Oh, I got to be that smart Asian kid. No, I didn't do that.
Mm.
I went into acting thinking, okay, I can be in a James Bond type movie. I could, fly or something.
That's
I
how
could
it
be
should
like
be,
a
yeah.
crazy superhero, I
Exactly.
didn't put that mentality. So if you build something up in your mind, it's going to start taking effect. So don't build that stereotype, dream
Yeah.
big, but like, don't fill your head with like, okay, I gotta fight, don't do that. And of course, just keep going, do your best, learn new things, watch movies. Definitely, that's one thing that I definitely do. I watch movies just to see how other people act and find a way how I can like implement
Exactly.
their skills onto myself. And I usually practice in front of a mirror just so I could see what's right for me. I go over the lines, see what works. My tip is just to see if it can run naturally, because if you overact, it's gonna be like, ooh, is that okay? If you underact, then it's like, is that really it? So you got to try to bring it naturally, pretend like you really are the person. That's why they give you like a description of the character, so you can have some background on your character. So definitely build yourself as that character and just deliver the lines just, smoothly without any worry. Don't overact and all that.
Right.
So yeah.
All right, man. Just the last question. So what's next for Nathan, man? What's going on? Not even just in movies, just in life and everything in general,
Yeah. Well, I've always wanted to work in the medical field. That's something that I thought of before acting. And I'm actually working towards that. I volunteer in a hospital, so I'm getting some, I guess, experience in that medical aspect. But I guess I'm generally just working on school, to be honest. I have auditions on the side, they call, I just do the auditions. But yeah, definitely just school, trying to get through high school. I definitely want to graduate high school and college. But yeah, I'm definitely working on the medical aspect of my life.
I mean, you could do both. Look at Ken Jeong. He was a doctor before he became an actor, comedian guy. So I mean, you could do back and forth. I mean, obviously it's whatever you feel, but like you can. I mean, that's a lot of work, but you could always go into just doctor and full time, and you'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try one more time. Like when he was like, in his 40s, and then he became who he is now. So like you could just totally forget about acting, follow your dreams of being a doctor or whatever, and then next you know you come back and do acting again.
Yeah,
So,
that's definitely what I'm thinking of doing. Like, I mean, I also like want to learn new languages. Like, I want to learn Indonesian. It's just so like I
talk to
could
this guy
speak
here
that.
then.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and I have thought about not only working in the film industry here in America, but like I wonder, how it would be like in Indonesia. Like if I work on an Indonesian movie, I think that's pretty cool. Just so I could I don't know, because I mean I'm Indonesian. It'll just be a little different for me. And maybe I don't know, maybe they give me a chance or something. But I definitely do want to continue acting. Of course, if God's plan is not, the medical field, then, it's definitely something else. So
right.
Yeah.
just gonna let him take the wheel, to be honest.
Exactly. And that's what it is. I mean, you started off really well. I mean, you start off like, rolling, and it's still going. And what Omar was saying about the example of Ken Jeong, he was a doctor, and then lo and behold, he became, a comedian and then film. And if we look at it now, look at like Cobra Kai series, right? A lot of these not child actors, but like some
Teenagers.
teenage actors,
Yeah.
they're or early 20s, young adults. Now they're back, right? So there's always going to be, the cool thing about this industry is,
Especially nowadays,
nowadays, the cool thing about this industry is there's no age limit
Yeah.
to start, even, right? And then I think Omar brought up the other podcast was about Betty White, how she actually started pretty late. God rest her soul. And that's the cool thing about this industry. But Nate, look at this. I mean, we forget he's a teenager, so he's gonna do. There's a lot of life ahead of you.
You got to find
And,
yourself,
Yeah, you got to find yourself, and I know that in the Indonesian community, Omar, and even maybe the Southeast Asian or even Asian community, period, acting is not really the forefront of goals, right? In the community. And for your parents, your family to be very supportive, Omar, it just makes things easier, and it makes everything, it makes it pushes you.
Yeah.
So, I think, Nate, you're very fortunate and to have a family that's very, very supportive of your. I know you kind of just stumbled upon this because you're a brother, but look where you're at now. And
I gotta say, it's a pretty good stumble.
It's somehow, it's a way, right? Any avenue possible, right? But you're an inspiration to a lot of these kids, and now that with diversity being a little bit more prevalent in this industry, it's a time, right? And also getting your work out there. We always stress on creating your own content, Nate, and and only because there's a lot of these platforms that you can get yourself promoted out there, right? So you're doing your thing. We're all proud of you, Nathan. I know, because I know your family for a long time, and being able, Nathan, to represent the Indonesian-American or even the Indonesian community as an actor and someone on Hulu, and one of the best acting award for your very, very first thing, Nathan. That's you're natural,
Especially if I feel the same way as they do from this seeing a 2-minute clip. They saw the whole damn thing and they were just blown away. So I mean, so I mean, even if you didn't want to become an actor, you still have the chops that you could come back years on the road, knock the rust off, and still come in and kill it. So I think,
absolutely. Yeah, and what a way to if it's only a short sample size, what a way. Well, one is a Hulu show. The other I won best actor at a film festival, and and that's awesome. And Nathan, much luck to you. I know there's gonna be better things. We know we share the same faith, and like you said, let God take the wheel. And I think it's on cruise control, but it's going the right direction. And Nathan, again, we're all proud of you. I think the Indonesian-American community and every Asian community, period, and everyone is proud of you. They could take your example and really be motivated and be encouraged, right? And this is what the show is all about. And hopefully, they can see, like, this guy inspired me, and I want to go for my dreams, because that's all we're about, is to promote positivity and encouragement through the lenses and experiences through anybody. And I think your case is a very, very good case, Nathan. And we're fortunate. Again, I know I'm a family friend, and Omar is you can say, I mean, Omar, you're impressed, right? And
big time, man. Like,
so
especially when you find out, like, you kind of like just did it. I was like, why not? And then, like, you went with your family, and then you got pulled in. Now you've got this love for it, so it's kind of cool to see.
And here we are. Yeah. So, but no, Nathan, again, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for taking the time. Nathan Matulessya,
thank you, man.
We appreciate it. I'm Victor for Omar. We are the Darker Tanned Asians, signing off.